our grammarian, who will give us our word of the day, and that's Mickey Kazam. And she says about giving back. Giving back is like paying it forward in a positive sense. It indicates that if someone does something good for you, it has the effect of enhancing your behavior to do something kind to others. Mickey.
I just thought of using the word tzedakah. It's a Hebrew word. It comes from tzedek, which means righteous or charity. And this is, tzedakah is the giving, is doing good and giving charity. And so in Judaism, there are enumerated 8 degrees of tzedakah, of giving. And you don't have to be Jewish to do this. But anyway, I thought I'd let you know what those 8 degrees are. And I also have 10 copies of the 8 degrees if you want to look at them, and you can have them. So, and they're from Maimonides, who was a Jewish scholar of the, I think, 11th century. So, of giving. There's 8 levels. So, the lowest level is that the person gives reluctantly but with regret. The next level is the person who gives graciously but less than one should. The third one is the person who gives what one should, but only after being asked. You can see where you fit in. The next one is the person who gives without being asked. The next one is the person who gives without knowing to whom he or she gives, although the recipient knows the identity of the donor. The next level is the person who gives without making his or her identity known. The next one is the person who gives without knowing to whom he or she gives, and the recipient doesn't know from whom he or she receives. And the highest level is the person who, I feel crying, who helps another to become self-supporting by a gift or a loan, or by finding employment for the recipient. I don't know why this makes me feel like crying, but it does. And so the idea is to go up these levels and maybe find yourself where you are on the level and think about other levels. So that's what Maimonides had to say about giving. And I'm going to listen to all the ahs and ohs and so's and whatever else. So thank you. And copies, I have copies here of the tzedakah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mickey. That was wonderful. I did not know what a tzedakah was, and now I do. I hear you.
So give something.
You're going to have to explain to me after the meeting the difference between a tzedakah and a mitzvah.
A mitzvah is a good thing to do, and it comes from, it's one of God's commandments is to do. That's a mitzvah. It's a good thing.
And our timer today is Chris Bassett, who had this to say, and I think, Mickey, you ran off with my cheat sheet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I do something?
You did a very bad thing. Thank you.
Yes, I did.
Sure.
Right.
Chris has to say about giving back. Giving back through others is one of my core values. Every Sunday and Monday, I enjoy serving at church, running tech, and playing in the band. I find that serving promotes community and loving relationships in my life. And Bob Abalone is our grammarian today. He says...
No.
Thought joke.
Thought joke. You just did it.
I get it. I thought I was... Here I was trying to be organized today, and it turned out to be a mass confusion. Oh, man.
Thought joke.
I know, I can't find it. I know he's thought joke, and I'll turn it over to Bob. With apologies for the shaky introduction.
As I was thinking about what I should do for Thought Joke, I thought about a joke, and then I realized earlier in the week that today is the 75th anniversary of D-Day, and it falls on our calendar this particular year. And I thought, in the words Tzedakah really applies to the young men who gave their lives on that day and the days following, so we today could have our freedom and live as free people. They said there were over 10,000 dead as a result of that operation, which ended up the beginning of the end to Nazism in Europe. To me, this is history. I was not born until after World War II. I was a baby boomer. Some of our older members may be old enough to remember as children that day. My connection is my family. My father was a World War II veteran. He didn't serve in combat. He was assigned to stateside to be the teach radar in Florida. My uncle, on the other hand, was a combat veteran. He served and was wounded in the Battle of the Bulge, which was about 6 months after D-Day. But a couple things about D-Day, some interesting facts that you may not know. I've always wondered, what does the D stand for in D-Day? And it turns out it just stands for day. When you have an operation, the day of the operation is D-Day, the day before is D-1, and the day after is D+1. It was a combined operation of British, Canadian, Polish, and French troops, and the French resistance was helpful once we landed and helped it coordinate. The weather was a very important factor. It was actually scheduled to be happening on June 5th. It was postponed by 1 day because of the weather. And if it hadn't been June 6th, it would have had to been postponed for a couple of weeks because they needed a full moon so when they landed pre-dawn, they could see what was going on. Finally, secrecy was very important. And as a matter of fact, General George Patton was sent on another mission to another part of Europe in order to deceive the Germans to think that it would happen in another area. So he wasn't too happy about being put in this subservient role, but he did his duty, and it was part of the reason for the success. So join me in thanking the young men who gave their lives on that day.
Thank you, Bob, for that poignant reminder about the anniversary today. And Bob says about giving back, an example in my life of giving back is the town of Lexington. I give back to them by serving as a town meeting member and a member of the Communications Advisory Committee. Thank you to Chris for stepping up as the evaluator of our